intro music. Hi everyone, this is the Top 20% podcast. I'm your host, Ian Agard. This is episode 8. Let's get it started. It's a special episode and you're going to like it. Hi everyone, as you know, this is the Top 20% podcast. I'm your host, Ian Agard. This is a sales podcast for the ambitious SaaS sales professionals. On this show, you'll get actionable advice you can apply to your sales career that will have positive influence towards your career. Today's a very special episode. My first guest here today, he's in the studio. His name is Kane Lam. Kane, welcome to the show. Tell me about yourself.
Thank you. A little bit about myself. First of all, I'm very excited. I'm honored to be the first guest. It's humbling. Top 20%, SaaS sales, ambitious people. I hope I live up to that description of the show. Being a pretty unassuming person myself, I do want to be successful. I want everything and then the dream, but at the same time, it's hard to live up to it and really own it. I think if you're that kind of person, an introverted person, I would say. That's me in a nutshell. What else do you want to know?
Well, I do know that for those who don't know, Kane and myself, we both work at Clio as sales reps. We both started in the same role as account representative. You got promoted, congratulations, recently to become a team lead. So I guess I want to know is walk me through, you've been at Clio for how long now?
Thanks, yeah. I've been here for just under 2 years.
Right, so walk me through Kane's journey. You walked into that door, our door here, 2 years ago. Now you're a team lead. Did you ever expect you to be? Did you ever expect you to be here at this position? And what are 2 or 3 things you think created this opportunity for you?
Yeah, if we all had to jump in a time machine, go back 2 years, and see what we thought back then compared to right now, I'm sure we would all have just a different perspective on what's going on. And if you had to ask me right now, did I ever know I was going to be team lead at that time? No way. Did I think I could be a team lead at a internet SaaS sales company at that time? I came from ad sales, if you recall. I was at a flourishing young tech company called Yellow Pages.
That's a startup, right? Yeah.
Maybe you've heard about it.
Yeah.
So naturally, there was some organizational changes there. And at that time, I was thinking about staying inside ad sales or moving on to something different. And moving on to something different, I did that, and I came over to Clio. I got to be honest with you, it sounded hard. Software, SaaS, and it sounded boring. Lawyers, if I could say so myself, being the team lead now. Gotta watch what I'm saying. Don't know who's listening, right? But that's honest the truth. That's what I thought. I didn't know it could be that much fun. It could be that much. It's so rewarding and interesting. Coming through the end of 2 years in March, becoming team lead, only walking in the shoes of a life of a team lead for less than 2 weeks. It's only been day number 12 right now. We talked about this earlier. I was also a speaker at Clio Cloud Conference. I didn't know they were going to select me. I definitely wanted to do it the first time that they offered it. I missed it. I got it, and now here I am.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do know that you're very outgoing, charismatic. You help out on our morning team shout-outs and meetings, and you also were Toastmasters, and so definitely know that everything you've done, you've earned. It's not something that fell in your lap. So kudos to you for that. Now, we all know that success is not a straight line going up. There's ups and downs. There's times of doubt. Tell me about a situation or a time where you struggled, or during your sales career at Clio or outside Clio, and what you did to overcome that.
It's almost necessary, I would say, to experience these ups and downs to kind of see what you like, what you want more of, or maybe what you don't like and you want less of. So you're right. It's not a linear process. At least it's not for me. And in my experience, let's say at Clio, there's really only two paths that I can see as a sales person to improve upon. One, it's to sell higher deals, more velocity types of deals, or bigger value types of deals, right? But it really falls under the umbrella of developing your sales technique, your sales habits, your sales skills, so to speak. And then the other is how to level up the rest of your team, which is more under the umbrella of communications, of working with the team, and so on and so forth. So for me, I didn't really see the role as being the motivator for me to work towards at the beginning, because the role never existed when I joined. It was sort of created, and now we have, I think I'm the 10th one to fill this role. So very exciting times. If you had to ask me how I kept myself on track, I identified some areas that I'd like to work towards, like these two, and then I picked one. So I thought that there was more opportunity for me to become a better communicator, to improve my perception, how I influence others. That was something that wasn't explicitly black and white, that's on the job, that's on the dash, so to speak. That was something that's more off the dash that I wanted to improve on. Here I am. So it's still something that I think I'm working on.
That's awesome, yeah. Because I think you're looking at it not just about dials and sending out emails. You're looking at it from a bigger perspective of your career. And it's a good way to look at it. So when you're saying about your focus on this communication part, walk me through, do you read books? Or how do you, it's one thing to identify, I want to improve in this area, communication, but also what are you using, the know-how, the skills, the training to improve upon that? Tell me more about that.
Wow, okay. So let me see if I can nugget size this, so to speak. If you ask me about books and podcasts, perhaps, or other resources that I use to develop myself, sure, yeah, I try to read and absorb as much as I can, individually.
Any examples, like names of these podcasts or books you've read that maybe people might want to read and learn from?
Well, the top 20% is a good way to start. That's Ian's podcast.
I didn't pay him to say that. But besides my show, other shows, other books, things you've done outside to develop yourself. Yeah.
I mean, they could be sales related specifically, or they don't have to be sales related per se, which you can apply in a sales format. So there's a lot of self-improvement that you can do. One aspect I think a lot of sales professionals don't really focus on is perhaps personal well-being, whether that's eating correctly or sleeping correctly, things like that. That's not explicitly sales related, is something that you want to highlight as well. And a good example of that was during the Clio Cloud Conference, another self-plug. One of the most sought-after speakers was talking about their circadian rhythm. And that's when you are most productive, based off of when you wake up and when you kind of have lower energy. And they found out that the worst time for that process for you to engage with anybody is at about 3 p.m. You don't really want to be talking to anybody you don't know at 3 p.m. It's one of the worst times. So some things like that I tend to resonate off of, and then some things that are explicitly sales related, like the 49 rules for Sandler method. I forget how many rules. That's something more sales related that I like to listen to, and I really prefer the listening format because it gives you the flexibility to do other things at the same time.
That's awesome. I'm glad to know that you're being more self-aware of yourself. And I like the fact you talk about the whole diet. I think, for me personally, I think salespeople are almost like professional athletes. And what athletes do, they always watch their body, they work out, they trust their body. I think sales reps do the same thing. I want to ask you about an advice. This advice can be something sales-related, but in your working career, what's the best advice you've heard, or at least advice that you you remember, it's stuck in your brain, and you might come back to again and again to kind of recharge you and refocus you.
I'm glad we talked about this earlier, because it's got to be setting up a goal. It's got to be that, because in the organization that we're working at, Ian, there are a lot of good people around you here rooting for your success. They're almost just waiting for you to let them know so they can help you. So you almost just have to have that goal. And the biggest struggle that you might have, if you're like me, I've definitely heard this amongst the sales floor as well, is that nobody wants to set up a goal for themselves until they've demonstrated to themselves that they can do it. There's a feeling out there that if you don't hit quota regularly, you can't tell nobody that you want to become a team lead, or you want to be an account exec level 2 or level 1, or whatever. I don't think that's the right way to approach it. I don't think that's the most efficient way to approach it, is how I should say it. And this is the same as if you weren't in an organization that's not really like us. In that case, you might ask people in different departments, or perhaps people that are completely outside your org, to help you align with those goals, to see if they can help you as well. Because the result is that once you share with somebody what your goals are, they want to help you. And it's going to be that much more easier for them to give you those opportunities, or for them to keep you on track, or for yourself to become motivated on those days where you're falling into a rut and you're getting no's from all over. You have to set those almost on day one where you want to go.
That's awesome. I'm about to wrap this up. That's real nuggets there. So basically trying to say me in a nutshell, if you were to go back 2 years to the beginning of your Clio career, what one advice would you give yourself based on what you know now?
At that time, I mean, you know where it was before. It was a completely different organization. I'd say one advice was I definitely should have planned out where I want to go a little bit earlier on. But then again, I mean, the fact that I didn't, I mean, I still kind of got here. So, I mean, you know, whatever happened. But if there was this magical time machine for me to jump back 2 years from now or before and kind of do something differently, I would at least set up some goals in advance and then work towards those, as opposed to just kind of coasting. I mean, have fun. I love to have fun, but also set up your goals.
Awesome. Kane, I love this. Good nuggets. Set goals. Write them down. Make your goals public to people you trust, your manager, your coworkers, your team leads, because they want you to see you succeed, because if you succeed, they succeed. Kane's been great. I'm just happy that you're my first guest on the show. And on that note, everybody, this is the end of episode 8.
Woo!
Sales Podcast. Kane Lam's in the house.
Talk 20%.
Talk 20%. And we'll see you guys next week. I'm going to wrap it up. Here's outro music. Here we go.